Hi, I'm Michelle. This is my first time doing a Facebook Live video and I am nervous, but I am very excited to read chapter 1 from our book that was published in June. It's called Souls on Fire, Memoirs of a Twin Flame True Love Story. This is part 1. These are a series of novellas, and they're really novellas for adults, which is kind of fun. I think a lot of adults only have the choice to read novels, and I want something shorter, and not a graphic novel, but something shorter that you can pick up and read in chunks and pieces when you're ready. So that was the intent when we started this book. It's a long story. Part 1 is just the very beginning of the roots of the story. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and read, and I look forward to hearing your feedback. Chapter 1 of Souls on Fire, Memoirs of a Twin Flame True Love Story, Part 1. June 2015. Walking toward the crowded Red Robin at lunchtime, I prepared for an awkward get-to-know-you conversation. Portland's early summer sunshine lit up the cheerful pink blouse floating over my body. That blouse was a liar. It didn't reflect the me underneath. Inside, I was colorless, hopeless, empty. I wore that blouse because I had no idea what my favorite color was. As was my custom with every man I met online, I asked your favorite color during our early conversation. Then I wore that color when I met. Then I wore that color when we met. Yours is the only answer I remember from a field of dozens of men, maybe 100 men. Your favorite color, you said, was pink. I thought, this guy won't work out. I don't like pink. Despite the difference of opinion, I agreed to meet you over lunch. How could I not? Your avatar commanded my attention from the first moment it showed up in my Ashley Madison search. Though only an image of the bright blue iris and deep black pupil of your eye, it was a siren song for me. Crossing into the restaurant, a shiver that had nothing to do with the air temperature gripped me. It was the kind of chill my grandpa used to say meant a goose walked over my grave. Inside my head, I heard a whisper. He's sitting under the light. My eyes roved to the back wall of the restaurant, slightly to the left of the main walkway. An unnatural light shone down from the high ceiling. It was a golden cone, extending earthward from a point somewhere out of sight, but not far above the roof. I felt the pull of you waiting there like a physical sensation, a hook in my chest, straight through my sternum to my shoulder blades. The hostess noticed me. Party of one? She chirped. No, I'm meeting someone, I said. Do you want to look around for them? She asked as I passed by. I already know where he is. I felt your eyes on my face when I turned toward the booth where you waited. I smiled, thinking how good looking you were in person and feeling the deep thrill of immediate attraction. You stood as I closed the distance between us. My eyes were caught by yours, magnetized. They were the same blue I'd seen on your profile, but I was sure I knew them from somewhere else. As my body edged into the imaginary cone of light, time did something weird, ticking simultaneously slower and faster. We shook hands. Dust motes danced in the light, and the voice whispered again. That's no light fixture, those are stars. Time snapped back to normal speed. We sat across from each other and embarked on a familiar conversation, spoken by millions of would-be cheating spouses over millions of collective years and millions of lifetimes. What are you looking for? I asked. I'm sorry, what are you looking for? You asked. I stuck to the partially true story I told all the men I hooked up with. I have a good marriage, but I need someone who can keep up with me in bed. I met my husband when I was 21, during our junior year of college. We got married when we were 24. Everything was good for a long time, but as we got older, our sex drives went way out of sync. That's pretty much the same with me, you said. Have you found anyone yet? I've been having an affair for a couple months. It's worked out well, but he's moving to Canada with his wife and kids next month. I'm looking for someone to replace him. How about you? What's your story? I asked. I've met up with a lot of ladies over the years, you said. A couple turned into long-term affairs, but I got caught by my wife about a year ago. That's my biggest concern. Your voice grew fervent. She cannot find out about another affair. Finding out about the other one hurt her so much. She doesn't deserve that pain. I'm in the same boat, I assured you. My husband found out about my first affair. It was awful. This sounds silly, but I love him and I don't want to hurt him again. Plus, we have 2 little kids to protect. I understand. It was your turn to reassure me. We don't have kids of our own, but we're foster parents for my wife's nephew. The server materialized. You ordered a chicken enchilada platter and a Diet Coke. I ordered the avocado salad and iced tea with lemon. As she bustled off, our gazes locked for a fraction of a second. The intensity was unbearable. Our eyes skittered in opposite directions, and I cleared my throat to speak. So am I the first woman you've met up with since your wife found out? I asked. No, there have been a few, but no one has clicked. I'm being extra careful. There are a lot of ladies out there looking for a man to get them out of their marriage. That won't be me. I will never divorce my wife. Same here, I said. Divorce is absolutely out of the question. Good, you sighed, relieved. I need someone stable and independent because sometimes I'm out of touch for days at a time. There can't be any emotional attachment between us. We are totally on the same page, I said. I hate clinging behavior, and I'm not interested in chat. Usually, I was the one introducing all the rules at these meetings. There's one more thing, you continued down your checklist. What's that, I asked. There may be a day when I just disappear, you said. If anything threatens my marriage, if my wife even tells me she's suspicious, whether it's about you or not, I'll cut you off. I've done it before. I get it, I said. This was like talking to myself in a mirror. It wouldn't be personal, just self-preservation. What we're doing isn't about love. It's about getting our physical needs met. Exactly, you exclaimed. The intensity between us steadied to a warm thrum. Our meal arrived and we ate together for the first time. Where are you from? I asked. I was born and raised just up the road in Oregon City. Are you from here? No, we moved here last September from San Francisco, I said. We got tired of the rat race, plus the kids suffered because of our careers. So we decided I'd stop working and stay home for a few years. We chose Portland because it's cheaper and close to my husband's family. Where did you work? You asked. I was a vice president at a big company in San Francisco. A vice president? You sounded far more impressed than you needed to be. Yeah, it wasn't a big deal, I said. I was in finance, working with Wall Street, really boring stuff. I did not want to dwell on my nightmarish career. What do you do? I asked. I manage a discount tool store in Vancouver. Your answer disappointed me. So you live and work over there? We were talking a 30-mile drive to see each other, which would be hellish in Portland's traffic. You foresaw my objection. It's a long drive, but we wouldn't be able to see each other often, so maybe we could try it out? I pretended momentary reluctance. In truth, I had other options waiting in the wings. Willing men lived closer to me, and I could unearth a dozen or more co-conspirators with ease. But I'd long lost the ability to say no, or stand up for what I wanted. You smiled, capturing me again in your blue stare. I knew your eyes, despite not knowing you. The golden cone fluxed briefly. All right, we'll see how it goes, I agreed. So you said you have 2 kids, right? You asked. How old are they? My son is 10 and my daughter is 7. How old is your nephew? I asked. My wife's nephew, you were quick to clarify. He's 15. He's lived with us since he was 8. I could feel that you were uncomfortable with this subject, so I changed it. When did you figure out you were looking for something more than you had with your wife? I liked how you paused and thought a moment before answering. At first, when I cheated, I did it to find out if sex felt different with someone other than my wife. See, I was overweight all my life. In my late 20s, I was so sick, I had to go into urgent care. Back then, I avoided regular appointments as much as possible. And the doctor told me I'd be lucky if I lived past 40. I had high blood pressure and kidney damage. It took me another 10 years, but I finally decided I didn't want to die like that. I wanted to be in control of my body and my life. Once I made it about what I wanted for myself, I was able to lose the weight and keep it off. My highest was 350 pounds, and I worked my way down to 165. Whoa, I said. It was my turn to be impressed. I hadn't seen the other side of 200 since I was in college. How'd you do it? I asked. I eliminated so much from my diet, like carbs and soda. I filled up on veggies and water. I found exercises I enjoyed doing and started doing them as much as I could. Once I lost some weight, my confidence went up, and it got easier to lose more. Women started to pay attention to me, and I realized I was attractive. When that happened, I started to question why I was unhappy besides my weight, and that led to the affairs. I've struggled with my weight since childhood, I shared. I hate being overweight, but no amount of dieting or exercise ever worked. I'm attracted to women of all shapes and sizes. You gave me a pointed once over. I think you're very attractive, and I like your self-confidence. Thanks, same to you. I batted my eyelashes to make you laugh. The conversation carried us for another hour before we split the bill. Walking side by side toward the parking lot, we paused at the same moment to face each other. My heart sped up. Instead of kissing me goodbye, as I expected, you asked a question. Do you want to go somewhere and kiss? Another thrill shot through me. This was not the same pattern as other first meetings I'd experienced. Yes, I'd like that, I said, as desire pierced me in the same spot where I felt the hook at the outset of our date. Should we take my car? Sure. You followed me. Climbing in the driver's seat, I cast about for an idea of where to go. IKEA parking lot? I suggested. You nodded. The sky clouded over and rain began to fall. We parked in the new grayness of the day while IKEA blue and yellow loomed through the car windows. Raindrops pattered on the sunroof as electricity built between us and around us in the interior of the car. We leaned toward each other. Our lips met. Lightning struck and I couldn't breathe. I felt my chest come apart where the hook had set before. The earth I lived on came unglued at the equator, each hemisphere twisting violently in opposition to the other before clunking back together with deep finality. Our bodies jerked back from each other. There was no difficulty in holding our gazes locked at that moment. What was that? You demanded, breathless. I don't know. You felt it too? I said. I couldn't wait to feel your lips on mine again. Yes, I've never felt anything like that before. We leaned in simultaneously to continue kissing. The electricity invaded our bodies and we breathed the spark between us into flame as our kisses grew. I never wanted that feeling to end. And that's the end of chapter 1. Short and sweet on this smoky Saturday afternoon in Oregon. The complete text is available on Amazon in paperback or Kindle in ebook. I'm going to be completing an Audible book recording of it soon and making that available. I'm probably not going to be able to resist reading a few more chapters live on here too because it's fun. And I appreciate the comments. Thank you, Maureen. I see you on there. Hopefully some other people will pick up and take a look and listen. Feel free to leave a comment and let me know if you liked it. Thanks very much. Bye.